Hey, Mike here from thesmartguitarist.com. This is the third video in a little mini-series I'm doing about the Dunlop Volume X pedal. In the first video, we talked about 5 reasons why it's a great platform for modding. In the second video, I shared my stereo volume pedal project with you. And this video, I'm sharing the one I'm most excited about, which is my wet blender pedal. There are a few wet-dry blend pedals on the market already, but all of them are in a traditional stomp box format, and some of them have the ability to connect an external expression pedal to it. I didn't want that. I didn't want 2 boxes taking up space on my pedal board. So I wanted everything housed in one rocker pedal like this. Also, in researching these blend pedals, I'm pretty sure all of them go from 100% dry and 0 wet to 100% wet and 0 dry. This is not what I wanted. I intended to use this only with reverbs and delays, and so for that I wanted my dry signal to be on 100% all the time, and I want it to vary from 0% wet to 100% wet and 100% dry. So my dry volume would be up 100% all the time, and this would merely adjust the volume of the delay and reverb trails. This is of course one of the other big benefits of parallel effects processing like this, is that your dry sound does not go through the reverb or delay or whatever other pedal at all. So it's not compromised at all. There's no conversion to digital if it's a digital pedal, nothing like that. So my dry sound simply goes through a couple buffer and mixer stages in this completely analog, and this pedal just mixes in my wet reverb or delay sound into it, which is great. So again, for this project, the Dunlop Volume X is ideal. As you can see here, it's got 4 jacks, and for the blender pedal, I need 4 jacks: input, output, and then send and return to connect whatever other pedal you want to blend into your dry sound. The tricky part about this is developing a schematic, because I couldn't really find anything online that was exactly what I wanted. I've built all kinds of passive devices before, switching circuits and rewiring the insides of guitars, but I've never done anything where I've designed anything with op amps or buffer stages or mixer stages or anything like that. So I leaned on a couple people and a couple websites pretty heavily. JD Sleep at generalguitargadgets.com, RG Keen at geoeffects.com, Jack Orman of AMZ Effects at musique.com, and then runoffgroove.com, particularly their splitter blender pedal, which is probably the closest thing to what I ended up with here. So I cobbled together this schematic. Basically, the input signal is doubled by 2 buffers. Buffer A is for the dry signal, buffer B is for the wet signal. Buffer B goes to the send jack, which connects to the input of whatever pedal you want, delay or reverb, and the output of that pedal connects to the return jack, which then goes to the volume pot, which adjusts the volume of the wet signal from your other pedal. It joins the dry signal from buffer A at the mixer stage, which then mixes the 2 together, all of the dry and however much of the wet you want. For more technical info about this, you can read the blog post about it. And here's the inside. If you watched the video on the stereo volume pedal I made, you can see that this looks much neater. Unlike that one, I used the stock red circuit board attached to the jacks, just with a couple small modifications so I could route these existing wires as I needed. Again, check out the blog post for more specific info and documentation on how to do this yourself. One last little trick I built in is a switch to send the wet signal either combined with the dry on the tip of the output jack, which is everything I've been talking about so far, or separate from the dry on the ring of the output jack. So if I plug in an adapter like this, a TRS male to 2 TS female, I can connect 2 amps and have the dry signal go to one and the wet to the other, with the rocker pedal still controlling the volume of the wet. Okay, so all that's left here is to hear it. First, we'll check out the blender pedal with a Line 6 DL4, which is set to the analog echo model, plugged into a vintage Fender Princeton reverb. And then now let's listen to it how I typically use it on my so-called Uber pedal board connected with the Zoom MS100 BT. And I'll show you a reverb sound, which is the 63 spring model, and a delay sound, which is just the basic stomp box delay model. One benefit of using the wet blender pedal with the zoom is that I can effectively mute it while I change presets. All right, so that's it. That's my custom wet blender pedal built into a Dunlop Volume X. Hopefully you dug that, and if you're interested in trying it for yourself, drop me a line at thesmartguitarist.com, sign up for the email list there. Also subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.